If you own a Toyota RAV4, brace yourself because things are starting to get messy. For years, the RAV4 has been the golden child of the crossover world. Bulletproof reliability, great resale value, and the kind of popularity most brands would kill for. But now, the cracks are showing, and RAV4 owners are waking up to a wave of frustration that Toyota can't seem to get ahead of. We're talking about transmission complaints stacking up like never before, hybrid battery failures showing up way earlier than expected, and repair costs that are blindsiding drivers who thought they were buying a drama-free SUV. And that's not even the worst part. Toyota dealerships, normally the calm, confident heroes of the brand, are quietly overwhelmed, booked out for weeks, and in some cases refusing warranty coverage unless owners can prove they followed every microscopic service guideline. The trust that made the RAV4 a legend is slipping, and owners are starting to ask a question nobody ever imagined hearing. Is Toyota losing its touch? Because while Toyota is busy rolling out flashy redesigns and hybrid marketing campaigns, owners are stuck dealing with peeling paint, electronic glitches, AWD system warnings popping up out of nowhere, and parts shortages that turn a simple repair into a weeks-long nightmare. And when you dig a little deeper, it becomes clear that Toyota's biggest problem isn't the RAV4 breaking, it's how unprepared they are for the sheer volume of issues hitting at once, especially with hybrids. The brand that was famous for overbuilding everything is now dealing with a supply chain stretched thin, plants pushed to maximum output, and technicians who say privately that Toyota's rushing newer models out faster than they can train for them. And as more owners report power inverter failures, fuel tank deformities, and EV mode glitches that Toyota once shrugged off as rare, it's starting to look less like coincidence and more like a pattern that Toyota desperately wants to keep quiet. Because the RAV4 isn't just any car for Toyota, it's their best seller. Their global moneymaker, the SUV that carries the entire brand's reputation on its back. And if that reputation crumbles, Toyota knows exactly what happens next. Because the moment Toyota's top seller starts wobbling, every other model in the lineup feels the shockwave. And right now, that shockwave is hitting hard. RAV4 owners aren't just complaining, many are downright furious, and they're taking it public. Forums are exploding, Facebook groups are flooded with photos of leaking shocks, malfunctioning sensors, and infotainment systems rebooting randomly while driving. Some hybrid owners say their fuel efficiency has tanked so badly that they're getting numbers closer to a V6 SUV than the hybrid they paid extra for. And the worst part? When they bring these issues to the dealer, they're met with a shrug. We can't replicate the problem, or the classic, that's normal for this model. It's a script Toyota owners were never supposed to hear. But here's the real bombshell. Many technicians, off the record, are saying the RAV4 is suffering from something Toyota has avoided for decades: design shortcuts. Instead of refining the drivetrain year after year, engineers are being pushed to keep prices low and production high, because Toyota knows the RAV4's sales volume is their golden goose, and that pressure is creating weak points. Cooling systems that run hotter than they used to, batteries that degrade faster because suppliers are stretched thin, software patched over instead of rebuilt. Mechanics call it band-aid engineering, and when that starts happening at Toyota, the alarms start ringing. And wait till you hear this. Owners in colder climates are reporting that the RAV4's AWD system is failing to engage properly in snow, leaving them basically driving a front-wheel drive SUV when they need traction most. Some say Toyota's playing it down because admitting a widespread AWD calibration issue would trigger a massive recall, and we've already seen what happens when Toyota gets backed into a corner. Slow responses, vague service bulletins, and a whole lot of customer inconvenience. It's deja vu of the fuel tank issue all over again, where thousands of owners spent years fighting Toyota just to get the car to take a full tank of gas without shutting off early. And while Toyota tries to quietly push software updates and service advisories, the confidence gap is growing. Resale values, once Toyota's untouchable superpower, are finally showing signs of slipping for the RAV4 hybrid, with auction data hinting at dealers becoming cautious. When the used market starts getting nervous about Toyota, that's when you know something big is happening, because the RAV4 was supposed to be the safe bet, the car you could buy with your eyes closed and drive for 10 years without thinking twice. But now, owners are realizing they're stuck with rising repair costs, unpredictable electronic behavior, and a company that seems more focused on pumping out new models than fixing the problems piling up in their best-selling SUV. And the deeper you look, the more obvious it becomes that this isn't just a customer service problem. This is a structural issue inside Toyota. Engineers engineers warning management that hybrid component suppliers are at capacity. Analysts pointing out that Toyota's reliability advantage from the 2000s is evaporating fast because everyone else caught up. And behind closed doors, Toyota knows that if they admit the full scale of the RAV4's growing problems, they risk detonating their entire marketing message. The idea that Toyota is still the king of reliability, and that's why you're seeing this strange pattern. Toyota quietly updating parts mid-production, quietly modifying hybrid components, quietly changing suppliers, without ever loudly acknowledging what's actually happening. It's damage control in slow motion. And RAV4 owners, who used to be some of Toyota's most loyal supporters, are now the ones noticing the little details. Newer models getting redesigned engine mounts without explanation, revised battery packs labeled with different supplier codes, updated AWD controllers mysteriously appearing in service departments. These aren't coincidences, they're silent fixes. But here's where things get even more concerning. Toyota's internal timeline for the next-gen RAV4 is being accelerated, which might sound exciting. New features, new tech. But insiders say it's being rushed because Toyota wants to distance themselves from the current model's growing list of complaints. And rushing a redesign, that's how mistakes multiply. You can already see the signs. Shortages of critical hybrid components, inexperienced technicians working on complex systems they were never fully trained on, and dealerships begging Toyota for clearer diagnostics because the car throws the same error code for 5 totally different problems. That's not reliability, that's chaos disguised as confidence. And owners are paying the price. Some are reporting out-of-pocket hybrid system repairs that soar into the thousands. Others are stuck waiting months for parts that Toyota can't keep in stock. One owner described it perfectly. The car may be reliable, but Toyota service isn't anymore. And that's the truth hurting Toyota the most. People didn't buy the RAV4 just because it was a good SUV. They bought it because Toyota promised consistency, predictability, and bulletproof engineering. Today, that promise is cracking under the weight of real-world failures Toyota never prepared for. And there's another angle that hasn't gotten nearly enough attention. Insurance companies. They track failure rates quietly, behind the scenes, and some have started quietly adjusting premiums for hybrid RAV4 models because the cost of repairing Toyota's hybrid systems has jumped significantly in the last 2 years. When insurance companies start flinching, trust me, something is wrong. This isn't speculation. This is an industry reacting to real repair data, real parts shortages, and real costs. And Toyota can't PR spin its way out of actuarial math. But the real storm is brewing in the background. The next big consumer backlash is coming, just like we saw with the fuel tank issue, but on a much bigger scale. And once enough RAV4 owners realize they're all experiencing variations of the same problems, whether it's AWD failure, premature battery degradation, overheating inverters, warped brake rotors, or screaming CVTs, Toyota will have no choice but to face the music. And when that moment hits, Toyota won't just be dealing with a customer service nightmare. They'll be dealing with a full-blown reputation crisis. Because once the public realizes the Toyota bulletproof reliability story isn't matching the real-world experience, everything changes. Word spreads fast. RAV4 forums are already collecting thousands of comments from owners across North America, Europe, and Australia who thought they were buying the last stress-free SUV on Earth, only to find themselves fighting Toyota over basic warranty claims. Some describe waiting months for hybrid components. Others say their dealers straight up told them, "We've seen this issue before, but Toyota won't authorize the repair unless the car fully fails." Imagine being told your car has to break completely before Toyota will step in. And that's where Toyota's real problem begins. Trust erosion. People don't panic when a car breaks. They panic when the company acts like nothing's wrong. And Toyota has a long track record of slow, carefully worded responses whenever a large-scale issue pops up. It happened with the SUA acceleration scandal. It happened with the Tacoma frame rust disaster. And now RAV4 owners are noticing the same playbook. Delay, downplay, deny, then eventually roll out a quiet fix once enough customers scream. But here's the twist Toyota didn't expect. Modern owners document everything. They post videos. They show receipts. They compare dealer statements. They share diagnostics reports. You can't hide patterns anymore. And the patterns with the RAV4 are getting too loud to ignore. hybrid charging systems overheating on long trips, AWD systems disengaging during acceleration, newer models showing premature brake wear, electrical gremlins triggering every dashboard light like it's Christmas morning. These aren't isolated flukes, these are systemic flaws building momentum, and inside the industry, analysts are whispering that Toyota stretched the RAV4 lineup too thin. Gas models, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, each with different components, different software, different suppliers, but all sharing the same production lines. The complexity has skyrocketed, and Toyota is struggling to maintain the old-school reliability they became famous for. When you chase volume this aggressively, RAV4 production has exploded over the past decade. Corners get shaved, suppliers get overloaded, and engineering teams get pushed to release software patches instead of solutions. And the scary part? Toyota's silence suggests they know what's coming, because once enough owners hit the same mechanical wall, and once the media starts digging into the mounting service bulletins, Toyota will be forced into action, and the cost, potentially billions in extended warranties, goodwill repairs, and maybe even a massive recall if certain hybrid components keep failing at the rate owners are reporting. And that financial weight is exactly what Toyota has been trying to avoid by quietly managing the situation instead of confronting it openly. And what RAV4 owners don't realize yet is that the next wave of issues, yes, the next wave is already forming, because technicians are reporting fresh patterns with newer 2023 and 2024 models showing early signs of problems that weren't even on the radar a couple of years ago. We're talking about infotainment systems freezing during navigation, new driver assist sensors miscalibrating themselves after hitting a mild pothole, and updated hybrid control units suddenly throwing warning lights that disable electric mode entirely until the system resets. Some owners say these glitches happen weekly, others say it happens every time they drive, and when they take the car in, the dealership usually responds with the most infuriating phrase a Toyota owner can hear: "There's no error stored, so we can't diagnose it." That line is becoming the anthem of frustrated RAV4 owners everywhere, because what they're dealing with isn't just mechanical failure, it's the growing mismatch between Toyota's old reputation and the new reality of high-tech SUVs filled with software dependencies and fragile calibration systems. Toyota built its empire on mechanical reliability, but the RAV4 has become a software-first vehicle, and Toyota is playing catch-up in a world where updates, patches, and electronic failures matter more than pistons and spark plugs. Technicians admit that half the problems they see today are software-based, but Toyota's diagnostic tools aren't advanced enough to pinpoint the root causes, so owners keep getting sent home with no issue found, only for the same warning lights to pop up again the next morning. And this cycle is wearing down owner patience fast. Some are even trading in their nearly new RAV4s because they're tired of being beta testers. Yes, beta testers for a company once famous for over-engineering everything before it hit the road. And here's the kicker: Toyota corporate is fully aware that their hybrid and plug-in hybrid systems are the next major vulnerability. Supply chain insiders say Toyota has been scrambling to source more durable inverters and updated battery modules, but demand is so high that many RAV4 models are still shipping with components that Toyota already knows will need early service. They're essentially hoping most owners won't hit the failure window during the warranty period. That's a gamble Toyota never used to make. But now, it's becoming business as usual. And while Toyota fans want to believe these are isolated cases, just a few unlucky owners, the truth is that large-scale data from independent repair centers is painting a different picture. Shops are seeing more RAV4 hybrid issues in the past 2 years than in the previous 10 combined. Some mechanics even say Toyota is slowly turning into the new Ford Escape hybrid, a car known for complexity and expensive electrical repairs once the warranty expires. That's the last comparison Toyota wants associated with the RAV4, but things get even more alarming when you look at the early reliability reports for the upcoming next generation model. Engineers testing prototypes are already whispering about problems that could make today's RAV4 issues look small by comparison. Early testers are reporting that the next-gen hybrid drivetrain, yes, the one Toyota is hyping as their most advanced ever, is running hotter than expected under load, triggering protective modes during long uphill drives. That means reduced power, sluggish acceleration, and in some cases complete temporary shutdowns of electric assistance. If this happens in real-world ownership, Toyota will have a full-blown crisis on its hands, because that kind of performance drop is the exact opposite of what Toyota promises with its hybrids. And then there's the new infotainment system Toyota is rushing into the lineup. Insiders say it's built on a rewritten software platform that still isn't stable. Test vehicles freeze, reboot mid-drive, disconnect from phones, and sometimes display blank screens for minutes at a time. Now imagine that happening during rain, at night, when your backup camera or navigation suddenly becomes unusable. This is the kind of thing Toyota cannot afford to mess up, yet the pressure to modernize fast and compete with brands offering flashy tech is pushing them into territory they never used to rush. But here's the detail that should really make RAV4 owners pay attention. Toyota's internal warranty cost projections for upcoming model years are higher than they've ever been for the RAV4 line. You don't raise warranty cost forecasts unless you expect more failures. And Toyota's bean counters are some of the most conservative in the industry. For them to acknowledge higher risk in advance tells you just how stressed the platform has become. Toyota isn't worried about catastrophic engine failures or massive mechanical disasters. They're worried about dozens of small, recurring, software-driven, sensor-driven, electronics-driven failures that chip away at owner satisfaction and flood service centers with vehicles that can't be fully diagnosed. Service advisors are already seeing the trend. Some dealerships have RAV4 hybrids lined up for weeks waiting on inverter assemblies. Others can't get replacement wiring harnesses fast enough. A few have told customers outright, if you're planning a long road trip soon, maybe don't take this car until we get the part. That's not a sentence anyone expects to hear from Toyota, especially not a Toyota RAV4 owner. And the tension inside Toyota is showing. Engineers are pushing for major redesigns. Executives are pushing to maintain production targets. Dealers are pushing back against corporate policies that restrict warranty approvals. Owners are pushing harder than ever for transparency. It's a four-way tug of war, and the RAV4 is right in the center of it. But the biggest warning sign, the one Toyota doesn't want RAV4 owners thinking about, is what independent reliability analysts are predicting for the next 5 years. They're seeing a downward curve, a real one, not a blip, not a temporary dip, an actual long-term slide in Toyota's reliability trajectory if the RAV4 issues aren't addressed at the root. Analysts are warning that Toyota's old strategy, slow, careful engineering, long product cycles, simple systems, has been replaced by a scramble to keep up with hybrid demand, emissions pressure, and global sales competition. And in that scramble, Toyota is doing something it almost never used to do, taking risks, cutting development timelines, relying on software patches instead of hardware fixes, outsourcing more components to suppliers who are themselves struggling to keep up. And that's why the RAV4 is the canary in the coal mine. It's showing the early warning signs of a company stretching itself too thin. When the RAV4 struggles, it's not because Toyota forgot how to build a good car. It's because Toyota is trying to build too many good cars too fast, on too many variations, with too many new technologies layered on top of each other. Gas, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, all in one model line that used to be simple and bulletproof. Every added system is another failure point. Every new module is another part that can glitch. Every supplier added to the chain is one more opportunity for inconsistency. And the cracks aren't just technical, they're financial. Toyota's hybrid components are some of the most expensive in the industry to replace. Inverters can cost thousands. Battery modules are rising in price because global demand is exploding. Even basic electronic sensors have become more expensive and less available. And here's the part that should concern every RAV4 owner. Toyota has quietly reduced goodwill repair approvals in some regions. That means if your hybrid system fails a month after the warranty expires, Toyota might not step up the way they used to. They're tightening the purse strings because they see what's coming, a wave of expensive repairs they can't fully absorb. Meanwhile, independent mechanics, people who've been working on Toyotas for 20, 30, 40 years, are starting to admit something they never thought they'd say. These new ones aren't built like the old ones. Not because the materials are worse, but because the complexity is overwhelming. They're seeing more electrical issues than mechanical ones, more software bugs than physical wear, more hybrid failures than expected, and they're preparing for what they believe will be a surge in post-warranty breakdowns once these RAV4s hit the 7 to 10-year mark. And that's what makes this such a big story. The RAV4 has always been the safe pick, the dependable choice, the SUV you buy when you don't want drama. But now, owners are waking up to a completely different reality, one where the most popular SUV in the world is quietly becoming one of the most troublesome for dealerships to repair, and one of the most unpredictable for long-term reliability. And the deeper you dig into the data, the more obvious it becomes that Toyota is running out of places to hide these problems, because the next phase of this this situation, the part Toyota really doesn't want RAV4 owners thinking about is the moment when the public conversation flips. Right now, most of the complaints are scattered. Owners posting on forums, Reddit threads, Facebook groups, repair shop channels, and a few early media articles picking up steam. But once a critical mass of RAV4 owners realize they're all dealing with variations of the same underlying issues,